brand new start. You've been living on the edge with forever as a pledge. No more giving it up, turning me loose, setting us free. Baby, keeping it real, cause we got what takes for sure. There's no turning back anymore. Can you see it's all a game? Life goes on all the same. If at first you don't succeed, all you've got is all you need. If you believe, then stake your claim.
Hello, Rise and Thrivers, and welcome to the third week of 2026. It is Monday night, January 19th. It's 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you are on right now, you have welcome to the Rise and Thrive Together live webcast show. So before we begin, let us tell you a little bit about who we are. Rise and Thrive Together is a community that is committed and out to empower and educate and equip you with the results that you want in your life. And we do that through real talk and taking real actions. So we're so happy that you're here. If you're new, welcome. If you've been following us for a while, thank you for always being committed and supporting us. Remember to keep on following us on Rise and Thrive Together on our YouTube channel, our Instagram, and also our Facebook. And we are really focusing on really empowering you guys and getting more intimate with you guys through our Rise and Thrive Together private community. So that's Rise and Thrive Together community. And it's a private Facebook page. So feel free to go and check out those channels. I'll put them at the bottom so you guys can just kind of watch the show and check out where we're at. So, hey, sis, welcome to the third week of January of 2026. And it's Monday night.
Yay.
Yes. Our time.
Hey everyone. Hi. What is it? Our Rise, Thrive.
It's our Thrive Tribe.
Thrive Tribe.
What up, Genevieve? She's already here.
So don't worry about it. Hey everyone. I hope your week is off to a great start. I hope you have not given up on your goals yet. Not at all. And one more important thing, happy Martin Luther King Day as we celebrate his legacy. So I know some of us had it off, and that's the reason why we are doing, what's our topic is, what are you willing to sacrifice to get what you want?
Yes.
Sometimes the one thing we have to sacrifice is our life, right? And that's what he did. He sacrificed a whole lot, and we're still striving for a lot of what he wanted. We've made some strides. We've still got some ways to go. So just want to put that out there.
Thank you. Yes, Susan Schaefer already really felt that and wrote legacy, right? When you said he sacrificed his life and left a legacy. And yes, Susan, thank you for saying that, because it goes perfect for our topic tonight. Here we are at episode 143, and we're going to talk about legacy, leadership, and the cost of the dream. Really in honor of, amazing speech. And we all have our dream, which for many of us, I'll speak for myself, I want to literally make into like reality. And it happens, right? Starting here at the show and many other things we've talked about. But, the whole entire month of the theme is really about what are we willing to sacrifice. And I don't know, right? When you said, sis, it really hit me when you said, he sacrificed literally his life, and I don't think he had that vision of having it happen the way it did, right?
I don't think anyone does.
Right? Nobody, right? I don't know. I can't say nobody because I don't know everybody's train of thought, but most of us, I would say many of us. But yeah, and that's a legacy that he's left. And that is something that, is a really interesting, really getting deep about that, being like, it doesn't matter. Are we willing to sacrifice for that dream, for that vision that's bigger than ourselves, right? That there's the success that's like a discipline, something that we have discipline in so that we can, get stronger at it and make some, take some actions in it and move something forward. But when I use the word impact, for me, like I really hit that whole thing about his legacy. I mean, he made an impact that is a legacy, you know, till this day. My daughter had off from school, but their whole entire, you know, time before break and then after break has been about him and his legacy and the difference that he's made in this world. So, are we willing to sacrifice, you know, for that bigger dream, for that bigger vision? Because there's always a price to pay for it. And are we willing to pay for it? So I'm curious to, wondering what everybody's thinking about that.
Well, here's one thing I'm thinking is when we say, what are you willing to sacrifice to get what you want? We really want you to know you're going to have to trade. You're going to have to give something to get something. So the question is, what are you willing to release in order to get? And with that, make sure that you know what it is you want to get. See, here's what I'm finding. A lot of people are like, yeah, I want to give some stuff up, but yeah, so, and then when you say, well, what is it that you want? They don't know. Or you get the flip side where they know what they want, but they don't want to give anything up to get that.
Yeah.
And there's got to be a trade-off, right? Last week we talked about, and if you didn't see the episode last week, go back and watch it. We talked about $5 and somebody asking you for $5.
Yep.
And you want to give it, but you still holding on. So better question tonight is, what are you holding on to that you know it's time to let go of? And I know some folks are going to be like, well, what if you don't know? You know. Let's not play that game, right? We're not going to do that. It is the third week of January 2026, and we're going to get real serious. You know what it is you need to let go of. But there's a safety and a security with it. It gives you something. And that's why you still hold on to something, someone, some place that you know is not serving you. And if you give that up, you're going to get something better. But then there's also the fear associated with, well, what am I going to get? Because I don't know. And some people need certainty in their life. I'll tell you, I'm not one of them. I will do things and think about it later sometimes. Not always, but sometimes. Because I understand that in life itself is uncertain. So nobody can promise you that when you sacrifice and what you get is going to be awesome and amazing right out the gate. It may take some work, right? You may have to sacrifice something else. And are you willing to do that? If to get something that you want. Let me throw that out there. I know I threw out a whole lot.
Yeah.
And Reg is probably going to try to summarize it.
Nope.
But y'all heard what I said.
Nope. Not summarizing it because I'll be honest, right now I'm not willing. There's things happening in my house. So here's the thing. I got a daughter who's crying. Don't know why. She came in hysterical crying. I got a husband out there. So what I'm willing to, not sacrifice is trying to summarize something, like that half here, half not. That's transparent. And I know people are listening. I know people are listening to Raquel, So I'm going to just say for myself, the piece that I got before was, when you said, we all know there is something, we're going to say, I don't know what I'm willing to sacrifice. Susan's saying that, she still doesn't vibe with the word sacrifice. And that's okay, Susan. That's okay. Like, flip whatever word it works for you. We just took that word that works for us, right? And we all have some story around that. We have some story about whatever that is. But what are we willing, like she said, to give up? Last week was about comfortability, right? Because we get so comfortable in doing things. So, again, it has been a journey from last week to this week about like that comfortability part for me. I am willing, like really willing to give up that comfortability And it all can work out for you. It just does. I'm just noticing like going, like I literally was like, gonna go watch TV, boom. And then was like, no, like, what is that really? How is that serving me? How is that moving anything that I want forward that matters to me in my life forward? And I shared with you guys about the vision board. And that has been that for me since last Monday, this Monday, 7 days. 7 days. I can tell you exactly when I watched TV because I did what I said I was going to do. And then so free and clear, like in communication, had stuff done. And I got to enjoy all my football games. And it was my, like, literally watched the football game like at night, last night. But there was that willingness of comfortability of, well, I can watch it, in the afternoon because I wanted that game. But I had stuff to do. I have something that matters to me, that matters, that makes an impact in people's lives, that will be that legacy. I may not know per se, but like I know what my legacy is. I know what that is. Like I want to empower, like Raquel says, and educate and equip people. And so, that's what I'm willing to do, giving up my comfortability on Sunday because I deserve it. Now, I'm not willing to give up my sanity. I'm not willing to give up my health. Like really, if like my health, I'm not willing. So we're distinguishing here, guys, what are you willing and not willing? None of it's right or wrong. It's just yours. It's yours to look at. We're being honest here. Not willing to give up my health. That's where, people know. I'm not going to come on sick because I'm like, oh, I promised in the show. If I'm really sick, that's why we have each other and we have ways to make stuff happen. But that's what I can share, what I've heard from you. And Susan is sitting here saying that since my word for the year is courage, whoo, Susan, I am willing to give up fear.
I love that, Susan. That sounds, when you read it, it sounds light, but that is super heavy.
Right? I wish
I
right
love
now I
it.
forgot the yay or the woo, because that's a bomb drop, like a really powerful one. Right? It just sounds so nice. My word is courage. I'm willing to give up fear.
That's a lot.
Just listen, let's be real. How many of us go through those like fear? She's talking about like every little bit of every little step of whatever she's up to, that she's out to. Legacy is
Susan,
in her business.
I've got to say, Susan, you're in beast mode. And that's kind of slang. That's a good thing. When you're in beast mode, that means you are grinding and you are putting 100% in, not 150, not 102. We don't need all of that. We need 100%. So you're in beast mode this year. I'm loving that for you. Absolutely am. So good for you.
Yes. Yes. I just want to go back. I did want to share something else, which you used earlier, which was when we were talking about Martin Luther King. She said, stories say that he had a feeling his life would be on the line,
Mm-hmm.
right? But his dream was bigger than his life.
Mm-hmm.
So when we said, do we know? We don't know. But he knew he was fighting for something so beyond, like for humanity. And you can't help it. When you have a team and you have a community that's out there with you, they're going to be your people. Word on the street. Words on the street. And Susan's like, Susan's a beast mode. Here we go. She's like, thanks, girls. I'm glad you get that. And my business is Luminous Legacy Project. Yes. Drop. You get that, Susan. There you go. You are so right, Susan.
So amazing. I love it. With this sacrifice, right? We are talking about, excuse me, I was literally, what I give up this weekend? Doing anything. I sacrificed that to get some rest because I was feeling a little under the weather, something I hardly ever do. However, with this sacrifice that we are making, I want to know how many of us are sacrificing for other people?
Ooh, say a little bit more about that for a second.
Oh, how many of us are sacrificing for other people?
Got it. Just hit me.
So here's something. Life's most, and this is a quote from MLK, Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others?
Mm.
So I'll ask that question that I just did, read his quote, and my question, how many of us are sacrificing for others? Get
Mm.
it?
Yeah, I do. But I'm like, we got some great people on here, so I'm willing to, you know, have a moment and see what's
So
coming up.
while they're thinking, I know I one of the I'm involved with the association. Most of you know. If you don't, watch our backstories or back videos, and you will get it. And I know there are things that I sacrifice for the association. What I do, I don't get paid for it, and I don't mind because I get to give back and be involved in community. So sometimes what I sacrifice is my time to be there and be active and involved in community, which is really important to me, to give back, to help the community, to empower, to educate, empower, and equip. That is my purpose. It doesn't matter whether I'm on Rise and Thrive, I'm in a classroom, I'm on a bus.
Yep.
It is always to educate, empower, and equip. And so when I say how many of you are willing to sacrifice or how many of you sacrifice for others, it's in that context and
Yeah.
it's in that vein that I'm speaking about. Not that you give up all of you and you're reluctant to give it up for someone else. Not talking about that. We're talking about it being healthy.
I love that
So
because that's what I was going
me
to say,
being
right?
in the
There's like,
community is super important to me. It's really important for me to educate, empower, and equip. And one thing I learned that people are bridges. And I'm going to share this with you all. I'm meeting a lot of impactful bridges that are people.
love it.
And I'm super appreciative for that. What were you going to say, sis?
I said, Ellen just wrote in and she says, oh, of how, here's what you're, of how can I not do for those I love or care about? And inadvertently, I gain so much.
Mm-hmm.
And what I was saying was, I love that you gave a little bit more context about the empowering piece of it, right? Because there's the sacrifice for others, where it can be pretty heavy, right? When you're putting others first and not taking care of yourself and, getting so wrapped in other people's stuff that things in your own personal life fall on the wayside. It was like, that's not the context we're talking about. We're talking about like what you were saying. I thought of volunteering. I sit on the board of directors of a nonprofit. I don't get paid for that. That is conversations and time, and it's for youth and youth leadership and youth empowerment. And that gives me so much more, right? Like making that impact for those youth, for those conversations with that committee so that we can, really have what they want to happen because it's their program. So I really love that context of it. And it doesn't then feel like Susan, I mean, I've just got you in my head, like the sacrifice, right? Like the low, like sacrifice.
There are times I know it's a sacrifice. I am
Yeah.
well aware that it's a sacrifice, but it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
Yes.
So please don't think that when I do it, I'll speak for myself. When I do it, I never see it as, oh, I've got to do this. No, I'm willing to make that sacrifice in order to step into and live out my purpose.
Mm.
I do not have it twisted. I don't know what it is, but I've gotten very focused and I don't want to say, oh, this year, listen, some of us take the old us into the new year and we get the same results because we're doing the same thing, right? We're not talking about that. We are talking about just transforming, and transformation doesn't just take place on January 1st in the new year. It's okay to carry it over. It's okay if it takes place March 1st in the new year. Let's not get so hung up on it being January 1st.
Yep.
Because if I ask a different question, which I think I did, it's January what? 18th, 16th, 19th? It's
19.
January 19th. How many of you started out strong and now you're going like a car that's backfiring?
It's so
You're
funny. Car
slowing
just
down.
backfired outside. Like,
I am on point. I'm
you are
on
on
point.
point is right.
But I want us to, because Reg said something. She talked about the word, she mentioned the word dream. And I've got all these great things to say about today. Today isn't just about remembering a dream, it's about living it.
Yes.
Small acts, brave conversations, collective courage. That's how change moves forward.
Mm.
It's about living the dream. And living the dream means sacrifice, giving up, relinquishing. Doesn't matter what you put in there or how you phrase it. You want to live the dream? You're going to give something up. And it's going to take small acts. We don't want to discount small acts. Some of us look for the big miraculous things with the fireworks. It doesn't always come that way. Sometimes it's something just very small,
It's
right?
just so profound at that
Mm-hmm.
moment when that small act, when like, all of a sudden it's when you really are present and intentional and you're out of your head because there's a lot of this stuff that we're talking about is mindset work, guys. I mean, if you've been following us for a long time, it's mindset work. It's constant. That small act is bigger than like what you can even possibly imagine what the end result is. It was just like Susan, like that courage. All of a sudden you're like, and then all of a sudden things start falling into place.
Mm.
Beautiful people show up that bridge to that next act and to that next act to the next act. I think we really do trip up on and I'm going to speak like she's saying, if you're one of those people that are like pulling from the old into this year about that like big thing at the end and it didn't happen. We've talked about that, like it didn't happen. I did that, it didn't happen. Again, working for you, not against you. Working for you, not against you. And that is something I took in for 2026. It's been around for a long time for me, but I continue to take that with me
Mm.
because that works. It just shifts everything for me because it's a committed statement that I embody. I embody. It's no longer like up in here or words coming out of my mouth. I embody it. Like I can feel it physically the minute something happens. As simple as all this disrupt that was happening in the background is gone. Gone. Like it is quiet, it is peaceful. I hear the shower going, like everything, like the results are happened. All of that is because I intentionally, I'm like, it's happening for me. It really is. How am I going to react? Am I going to get off the show? I mean, I was doing all this while she was talking, all of it. But that's the mindset work, not from like not listening, but from like listening, because this is what we do and listening so that everything continues. And you didn't know. Nobody knows. Now you know, because that's what really is happening. That could have gone a whole other different way, but I'm not committed to that.
Mm.
I'm not, that's the sacrifice, right? Like that's the sacrifice. Just not
I
committed
love
to
it.
having that in my life anymore. And it really is that way. And there's some really incredible people that are going through some really like that was may everybody have a life like that. Upset daughter doesn't want to take a shower, like things like that in the background, but going through, things way worse than that. And these conversations that written to me, haven't even talked to Raquel about it, and are having their own conversations that are just like, this is so helpful for me. This is what I remember. This is what I remember. And so this situation happened, and I know it's happening for me. And it takes me a couple of days, and I'm journaling through it, and then all of a sudden I realize, wow, something so much more than what I can possibly imagine. So yeah, I love it. Love the conversation. It's just totally on point. Totally on point.
Absolutely. You had some questions though. You wanted to
Gee,
bring up
yeah,
a
I mean,
subject.
like, it's really, I mean, I said it earlier because it's one of those things where, like I was saying, success requires discipline, but impact requires legacy. So, the fact is, like, what we are talking about, what are you willing to pay for it? Like, what are you willing to pay for this? Take a word, dream, whatever, this dream that you want to live right now. I love what you just said. So I'm going to take the dream out of like dream quotes and make it happen now. Are you willing? And I love that, to pay for it. Like, are you willing to pay for it? And that is, your own question, something to think about, something to say, I'm not sure what that means. Raquel's giving you a lot of context around that. Um, but yeah, I'm just really curious, really, with the audience right now, with the few minutes we have left. Like, you guys, you've been listening and know most of the people have been on here, who's been on, like, what's happening? Here you are 3 weeks in. Share something about where you're stuck or what has moved forward for you. What questions you have for Raquel and I, what you want to share with, what do you want to share with the community? Because we can just sit here and talk all day long, right? We can sit here and talk all day long. And we've got a fabulous guest for you guys next week that's going to take this to the next level. That's going to be amazing. But I'm just
It,
curious.
and it really does take sacrificing, like Susan said, the fear.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
She's going to give that up, and she's going to get courage. She's sacrificing fear to get courage. And that's going to take her so far because trust me, now that she's said it out loud,
Woo!
one, she's committed to it, and two, it's going to come at her from every single direction. Not every single direction. It's going to come at her. This fear is going to keep coming. Every time she takes a step, here it comes. It's going to challenge you to see if you are committed to you. That's just what happens every single time that you say something. Here comes the opposition. Let's see how committed you are. And you just take it in stride and you show how committed you are. At the end of the day, you're committed to you, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And like we're saying, this isn't like oh yay, it sounds so easy. It's not. Like Raquel made that clear. We made it sure it's not. But I think the biggest piece I really want to just kind of, hit home with is, it is a consistent commitment. And it's one that you get to say. Now, Susan took the courage, first step in saying it out loud to us. We all have a special relationship with her. And so the beauty that I love is we also have a relationship outside of here. So we have a committed call together since 2009. So you now know, Susan, with some other people, we'll hold her accountable. But like, she has the grace to go through those spaces, but we'll hold that space and we will remind her. Because
And you
fear
know
will,
that,
yeah,
go
go ahead.
ahead.
No, I was going to say fear is going to show up. It is always, every time you want to take that next step, make that phone call, ask somebody for something. I don't know, set up whatever you're going to set up in a workshop, a program. It's always something. And that mindset's going to bring you right back to that. And it's going to be whatever that fear is that you were like, that's my word, because you know what that's about. That's going to show up. But are you willing?
And here's the amazing thing. There are times where fear may just take over.
Yep.
It's
Yes.
not about, oh my gosh, I messed up, I might as well keep fear. Heck no. You had the moment, and now let's get through that moment. Right? What did you do before? Because fear is going to come. And whatever the word is for you, right? We talk about being consistent. It's not always easy. I was just talking to, I think, my mom and my dear friend, my Ace Boon Coon, my sister-in-law, Jillian. Shout out to Jillian. I was telling her, I am on fire, motivated. Now, I don't know how many of y'all know this about me, but I hate grading. There, I said it. I absolutely hate it. It is the worst part of teaching for me. Some people love it. Good for you. I do not. I feel like it gets in my way. But I am on point, current. I have my stuff laid out and it's scheduled. Announcements are scheduled to go out and all of that. I've never been that on point. And I am
Nice.
shocking myself. But all of this I can get done because I sacrifice what? TV. Except this weekend because I was in bed. I was on a binge. But anyway, that's a whole other story. But I've committed, right, to this word freedom. So I told you guys at the beginning of the year, my word, every year I have a word. I don't have a word. I get it from my pastor. And this year the word is freedom. And I have it on my vision board. And guess what, y'all? I feel so free because I've learned how to get a schedule and sit down. I'm not interested in TV. I got to get this done. I'm committed to not feeling overwhelmed.
I love it.
I'm committed to that. And I'll tell you what freedom is. But let's check in with our audience and see what they're saying. And I'll tell you all about freedom in a minute.
Yep. And then I'll tell you my word too. And then we'll get to our guests. So Susan said, when we were going back to what you were just talking about fear, she goes, that fear came to me this afternoon. I was working with ChatGPT about making one of my posts shorter and more succinct.
Succinct. Gotcha.
Thank you. I said something about women becoming their chief legacy officer of their own lives. And ChatGPT put my message into the context of working with women leaders. And I almost had a heart attack, right? Like, I mean, for Susan, she knows what that means. Bottom line is she's like, this way, it put into a context this way. And she's like, and I get what Susan's saying because Susan's like, what? She might work with women over here. And now she's like, oh, ChatGPT is like, cool. Then your work is with women leaders, whatever that means to you. You know, like whatever that was, she had a heart attack. You know, she was like, oh, like, I don't know. Like, I know Susan, I know the work she does. Anybody who wants to be doing that type of work, you're a leader. If you want to be your own chief legacy officer, you know, but it's something hit her. And that was like, whoa. So there was her fear in my world, because I know her well. I'm just laughing. I'm like, no kidding. You know, that's awesome. You know, so I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you, Susan, for sharing.
So, Susan, thank you for showing that what I said was accurate. As soon as you put it out there, here it comes. It takes no time. It's like as soon as the last word leaves your mouth, it's like, all right, here we go. Let's try.
Yeah.
Let's test this and see. Right? But good for you. You had your heart attack, but you're here.
And
So
not
we good.
literal, not literal. I do ask, as Raquel's
Right.
going to tell us about her word, and I'll share about mine. Anybody else, if you know, if there's something that's come to you, don't force something. But if something has, you know, if you already know this, please share what your word is for the year. Susan's already shared hers. But Raquel, why don't you share a little bit more? Like you said, you want to share a little bit.
Real quick, I'll just share it so that Reg can get hers in. And the word is freedom. Freedom is not just about removing barriers. It begins when your mindset shifts, your perspective grows, and your purpose becomes clear. That's freedom.
I love it.
All right. What's your word?
Well, the word that came to me just kind of like as I was like my connection with God is integration. So similar to Raquel, where she's like, I have this conversation of I get overwhelmed. And then the limiting belief, that little girl that comes up is like, I'm not smart enough, you know? And so I'm not smart enough. And all of those little things come. And then I just go nowhere. And I then really feel like a child and like I feel stupid, bottom line. And then forget it, it's a mess. I'm clear. I've done a lot of work. I've done a lot of work, paid for a lot of work, have a lot of work. I help people do the work that I have like done, you know, and literally support them. And I'm now like that word integration for me releases the overwhelm, releases that I'm not smart enough. I like just connect to myself and I allow It's all in me. It's in every part of me, mind, body, and soul. And when I just get that overwhelm, I have now just been taking that time of being like, I know what that is. That's not the little girl who's not smart. It's take a breath. You need some space. And then everything just starts downloading and coming into place. And then I've got stuff that I'm in order and start taking those actions. As simple as the ask, like, like, oh, okay, I realize that's something I don't know well. And that happened for me literally tonight. Somebody asked for a big thing. There's a big event that's coming up this week that I'm part of. And I will be honest, I am not like super like savvy around CRMs. Like that's just not my thing. If anybody wants to know about CRMs, we could talk offline. But like CRM systems, and all of that. And I was like feeling that overwhelm. And I just was like, wait, hold on. You know exactly what to do. And I did. I got it. And I just was able to say, like, listen, if this is this, no, that's not that. I'm not part of that. And the big ask came apart. And I was like, can you please have someone who knows this, X, Y, and Z, because I know what my role is. So I can then be able to do the rest of the stuff. That person wrote me back and was like, wow, thank you so much. Got it. You'll have everything by the morning, because I said exactly when I needed it, how I needed it. But old me would have been like trying to figure it out, getting overwhelmed, trying to do something, don't understand, then, making a mess, doing all that stuff, being upset, getting mad. Just, I'm not just willing to do it. I know what's inside of me. I know what I know. And I just needed to take that moment and just be like, yeah, I am smart. Just not well versed in that area. Doesn't mean I'm not smart. I'm going to go and speak to the people who are well versed in that area. Because again, I'm about team, I'm about community. I'm not willing to take into 2026, like lone wolf, do it all. Anybody who knows me, that's not it. So that's for me, my integration, like just integrating everything that I know about who I am, what I know I do well, what I know I don't know well. And like there's nothing wrong with either one of them, just that's it. So utilizing community more. And it gives me freedom, courage, like so much fun, so much joy. Like I said, got to watch football.
Now, what we're going to integrate is our guests for next week. Are you going to tell them?
Yes, sorry, I'm like drinking something.
That's all right. You're drinking from the party cup. Gotcha.
I'm drinking from the party cup, my bubbly water. I am super, 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 super excited because, guys, you are going to get a double Lamoth next weekend. You've got myself, and I'm really excited to introduce you to my sister-in-law, Laura Gibson Lamoth. She is brilliant, and she is going to come in with this amazing, continuing this topic. She wrote this awesome article calling Drifting Without Noticing, Staying Yourself While Building Something Big. And I shared that article with Raquel, and Raquel was like, love it. And I reached out to my sister-in-law, and she's going to jump in this conversation and continue this about what you're willing to sacrifice by not even realizing that you're noticing that you're already disconnecting from yourself. And it happens when you're doing something big. So excited to bring Laura Gibson Lamoth in next week. Yay.
Awesome. Well, guys, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you so much. I was about to say guys, I'm learning how to do that.
I know.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you so much for joining us here tonight to continue the conversation on what are you willing to sacrifice to get what you want. You've heard some words that people are working with this year. You've heard some quotes about MLK. You've heard, hey, it's not always just about us. Sometimes we sacrifice for others. And what that means in a healthy context is what we spoke about. So we always appreciate you joining us and being here and your support. Thank you so much. And remember, what we want you to remember is until we meet next time, we want you to stay grounded, stay curious, and keep choosing you. Take care.